So for this Libra full moon, I really wanted to get my shit together and be like pretty and really do that Libra side of me that wants to be pretty, but that's all but dead. I want to be as pretty as I can be. Beauty is something I love as a force for good and purity, not what our world has turned it into. And I just don't have the energy for dealing with any of it, with the perception of it or the reality. I'm just kind of letting all beauty rest in whatever is. I actually really messed up my paper for this one, but we are at the Libra full moon, and it occurs on April Fool's Day. I got really into the time zones the other day, so I wrote out at the top all of my time zone buddies. So Central Time, we are from Eureka, Canada, up here, down to Jamaica, and that's about it. Time strips. We are in time strips, like those fly strips. Ours is even yellow, like a fly strip. No, that's too weird. I was thinking about what's wrong with love. And the main thing is we're looking for all the good stuff up front. And we're putting forth all of our best stuff up front. And that's very wrong. Love begins with ugly, bad, wrong. It just does. The real stuff does. Because it just does. It's all very 10 things I hate about you. If you can endure the 10 things that another person hates about you and that you hate about yourself, then love is the prize. I assume. I guess that hasn't happened yet for me. No. Hold on. How I know this is by observing how love works inside of me. Things that I hate. I mean, not all things that I hate right away, but it's the things that grate me in some kind of way as an initial impression that I end up loving hardest of all. The first super example of this was Joanna Newsom. I was intrigued. I liked something about her. I always, especially back in 2006, again, I'm going through my old blogs and older versions of self. It's been highly cringy, but you know what? I'm actually not as different as I make it sound. Anyway, that's another topic. I did not love Joanna Newsom at first. I loved the vocabulary she used, and again, I was intrigued. But it wasn't until a man that I was head over heels for put a song of hers on a playlist that he made that I went nuts. And Joanna Newsom became, during some seasons of my life, the only person whose music I could listen to. This whole era of my life also is the reason that I make playlists obsessively. I kind of fell in love with being alive in a new kind of way. I think I was born with some kind of special ability to be in love with life. I don't understand why other people don't have it. I'm really sorry. I don't know what I came in with that is different. Sometimes I think it has to do with me being a newlywed baby. Like, I'm from right after my parents got married. And I think they were really in love when they first got married. But they were very young. And that did not last. Like, just based on things, all the evidence adding up so far, I've formed the theory that so much of our attitude toward life comes from the love experienced between our parents, especially when we were in utero. So it's very, like, unfair seeming, the advantages that some of us have just because of the love we know from a period of time that we had no control over. But also I have formed ideas about karma that come from our heritage. And it's not that, like, we are saddled with the karma of our parents unfairly. You could look at it one of two ways here. And I know I'm going off of my subject, but I've pretty much said my point already. Like, when you are especially irritated by something aesthetically, pay attention. That might be the thing that becomes your obsession. Like, the thing that evolves you and makes your heart expand into territories you've never known before. Anyway, karma and heritage. Another thing that really opened this up for me was the show Beef on Netflix. I mean, that just gave me a whole other... It was like two roads finally joining, two lines of logic joining, twin flames, and then karma, like inherited karma, kind of intersected there. The harsher reality of twin flames is very well demonstrated by that show, Beef, on Netflix. It's not a relationship to your light that you're dealing with in a twin flame dynamic. It is shadow. Another cool representation of this is the video Stranger by Doja Cat. Oh, and that's a great April Fool's Day video to watch. If love has you feeling like a complete idiot, and at times you realize that you love it, please watch that video. And do watch Beef on Netflix, because it's a masterpiece. And art redeems all shadow. Okay, we've circled back to beauty in Libra. A random comment I recently saw about Libras, and now I absolutely hate when we refer to whole groups of people as their sun sign. Don't do that. It's dumb. But somebody wrote, I never met a Libra that's well balanced. Balance, it's not gonna look the way you think it's gonna look. It's just like love. It's gonna look like a lot of ugly and nope. And there's some kind of little fight that has to occur before it becomes real. It's just like real life, biological life, like the suffering, like in women, menstruation. Like, we are kind of put down a good amount of our lives by the simple fact that our bodies create life. And it's a process I've learned to love. The only thing I've hated about it in my whole life is not knowing if I have to call in to work because my cramps are going to be too bad, or I've never really dealt with the stress of anything else when it comes to being a menstruating being. Because I love the bubble bath that comes with it, all of the emotions. Just being a woman biologically is not a source of suffering for me. Being in the society that has always existed, apparently, for the last hundreds or thousands of years, however people treat women, that's what is hell. The way we process and deal with this. Like, we don't give women, or women don't give themselves the time and the space to be who we are and love who we are. And I understand we have a lot of obstacles, like when men don't love us, when we are most what we are, bleeding and crying. Blood and water, there it is again. Oh my God, like, women are Jesus. Do you understand that? Do you understand the whole Jesus thing? It's women. The feminine is what we've all packed all into this one dude. Women are the water. Women are the blood. But you have called it all dirty. And if it doesn't come through a man, it's not holy. Blah, 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 blah. Not you personally, but whatever is out here that was cursed to hate women. The enmity sown between us. That's how it all comes down to sex. There's no, like, God that's on the side of one sex or the other. There's man and there's woman, and there's this split in the earth between them. And actually, this is another case where the ugly becomes the beauty, and you end up falling in love with it. Because the feminine is now the mystery. The feminine is now God, who hides and lifts her veils when one is worthy. And this occurs for men and women, and like all human beings are the man in this regard. And then that is what Kundalini is. It is the feminine within us that lifts her veils every time we do something awesome. Every time we clean up the kitchen, bring her flowers, honor that which is feminine, and the universe rewards you with mystery, with beautiful, synchronistic, theatrical awesomeness. Like, the pop cultural, pretty crass way of looking at it is time as a stripper, doing it just for you. That's from the Grateful Dead. But it's way more. It's not, like, it's seductive, but it's sacred. And that is kind of my archetypal concept of male and female, is just, it's almost very, like maypole. I don't know the details of the whole maypole ceremony thing, but I know it's a pole, and then women dancing all around it. It's like, this is the spine, or the phallus, the male, the masculine, and all it has to do is be centered, grounded, stable, still, witnessing, listening. And the feminine will dance and dance and dance around it. And in an electromagnetic relationship between man and woman, or whatever combination of those two freaking things you need or want, again, it just comes down to the number 2. One person is more stable, and the other is more dancing and wild and free. Or maybe they alternate, Because finding balance within is about being simultaneously still and witnessing and dancing when you want to. But for instance, I am very well balanced. However, I am very feminine. And what I really seek in a man is all of that classic, like, stillness and solidity, groundedness, centeredness. And this can look like a lot of things. It doesn't have to look like the stoic. It's just about somebody knowing who they are. So even myself, as extremely feminine and all over the place, I am grounded and centered in that I know that very well about myself. I've got 20 years of records, and I brush up on who I am constantly. Like, literally try to, like, tidy it all up. Holy moly, I've been all over the place for this one, for real. I just really want to be that, especially on this channel. So, what all have I covered? Let there be hate before there is love. Twin flames, it's all about chasing shadows. And it's fun. And you learn a lot about yourself and other people. You learn everything through this electromagnetic dance thing. For me, it has ceased to become about any specific other person, because the face and body just change. The complexes that you're dealing with are what evolve as you become more of who you are through love, through feeling love and like someone else can complete you. It's not true that we don't need others to complete us, but we don't need to possess them to be completed by them. We learn their ways. When you love someone or feel a magnetic attraction to someone, don't just obsess about that person. Figure out what it is about that person. And it will usually be some kind of trauma bond thing. Something in them will make you feel like you can get the love, the specific type of love that you wanted as a child, or that just your child's heart wants. And that is not all bad. But it is bad when we go about it without knowing that, without accepting it. And it feels like modern people are just so offended by the notion that they are anything. It's very strange. I do not understand how low most people's self-esteem is alongside how prideful they are. I mean, I know that in some way they explain one another. Like, the pride is a compensation, like an overcorrection for the fact that a person has low self-esteem. But the remedy, just like this, love is ugly, let there be hate before love, just like that, when it comes to loving ourselves, when you see the full ugly spectrum of yourself, ironically, that's what makes you fully love yourself, because you learn unconditional love for yourself. Let there be hate before there is love. It's the only thing that makes sense. I guess maybe that's the joke. Happy April Fool's Day. Hate comes first. This is a full moon. The moon is opposite the sun. Libra was first, Aries' enemy, the opponent. So love feels like the greatest joke ever told. And you know what? It is. And it's funny. Let it be funny. Let it be fun. That was my mindset making pretty much all of my playlists, and I've made hundreds. But my favorites, I keep them public and I advertise them like remedies because they healed me. It healed me to see love as this whole spectrum of super dark and weird, fringy, scary, and then so bright and beautiful and hilarious. Like, I kind of just want to make a movie for every single one of my playlists. And I need to send a thanks to Joshua Lee Yates, my boyfriend from 2006, 2007. He was making these mixed CDs in the early aughts. And that is my whole inspiration behind obsessively making playlists instead of going to therapy. Because therapy is not the answer. I'm not saying it doesn't help anybody ever, but paying people to listen to our problems because none of us have courted this feminine force, this kundalini, shakti, whatever. And so we're terrible listeners. That's bad. It's bad that we have to pay people because we don't have real friends. It's bad that we do that because we just want to reinforce a certain story about ourselves and clean up our behavior instead of enjoying this whole playground full of both shade and sunshine. Going back to nature is not just about bone broth and getting some chickens. You have to understand that we have a psychological and spiritual nature, and shade, shadow, darkness is a part of it, just like compost and soil and death. Decomposition is a part of all the physical stuff. It's crazy that we can't see that. Snap out of it. It is insanity. I am not the insane one. A fact which makes me even more insane all the time. Why did I have to go to the insane asylum? I am not the insane one. I become driven insane by all the insanity which masquerades as sanity. Okay, maybe I'm a little crazy. Because it's fun. But it's not unconscious in me. Cats are supposed to be graceful. But graceful isn't fun. In my late 20s, I was so full of cognitive dissonance about my behavior. I was truly spiritually bypassing a lot. Even, I'm sure I had some half-hearted, like, confessional type, like, my past something, something, something. But I was doing my damnedest to just sweep it all up, sweep it all up. I didn't do all that. That wasn't me. I'm going to blast the most positive version of myself out here to make up for the fact that I am so ashamed of whatever the fuck just happened. Which basically, I guess we just call it a hoe phase now. But it has so much more. It means so much more that our sexual energy has been distorted this much. And it means more to me that I went through all of that. Because let's say I did everything right the whole time and then still sat here at 40-something looking at the world the way it is. I would be so much more judgmental. The only way I can see things clearly, the dysfunction and distortion, is that I was a part of it. And the only reason I feel I have the right to say the things that I'm saying, which at this point is just abstain. Do not have sex with strangers. It is so wrong. Nobody was just saying, this is not how sexual energy works. Everyone was just shaming the behavior. And that makes people act out even more. It makes us rebel. If you understand that pleasure just doesn't even come from fucking around like this. Like, you're just never, ever going to get the thing that you feel like you're going to get from these interactions with other people. Having sex is gratifying, but it wears away at satisfying. Your soul's satisfaction with life is corroded by seeking short-term pleasure. In fact, this separation between sex and love, like people saying love, it isn't about the sex. That's bullshit. And also, that broke the chain. That allowed us to not see sex as sacred and not see it as a vessel for the expression of love. So I'm going back to sex is love. Respect it, or you are going to feel hate. Just more hate. And not the redeemable kind that turns into love. The hate that you develop within yourself by using other people as sex objects, that's something that you actually do time, like down in a ditch, for. That is some hard karma. And it's just become so much more real. And the logic of it has revealed itself to me. The magic of understanding what sexual energy really is. And that has everything to do with correcting our relationships. Like, we are still in the time of the Venus star point. There are 5 Venus star points. Venus, in its dance around our planet with the sun, draws 2 perfect 5-pointed stars every 8 years. And each of those points stays in one zodiac sign for some amount of time. I can't remember. But one of those points has been in Scorpio for a very long time. And this year is its last year in Scorpio, at 0 degrees Scorpio. It is time to fully understand this thing about love. Manage your sexual energy. Transform it with yourself. Heave it up your spine. The word upheaval. Think of that anytime you're going through something terrible. That's how spirit transforms us, is through calamity. Something we won't face on our own will happen to us so that we will face it. And that will cause upheaval. So you retreat. And you force all of that energy upward. Make yourself gold. Transform the scorpions into an eagle, and then the eagle into a phoenix. There's so many metaphors and ways of understanding this because we have ancient cultures that fully flesh it all out. But what do we look at in the Kama Sutra? The pictures. What do we focus on? How many positions? We are the short bus, kids. On the one hand, it's brilliant to be such dummies. There is so much to discover. Just admit how dumb you are. It's a relief. And then the world becomes a playground again. You discover your childlike nature again, because you don't have all that pressure to be an XXX adult. I think we've literally created a system and a world like, oh my God, yeah, it is a demon's playground, the devil's playground. If you have to become XXX to be an adult in any way, that's not what adulthood means. That's what signing your name and your identity over to demonhood means. That is operating in total, willful ignorance of all of the spiritual laws, which are already extensively documented in pictures, in literature, in holy books. It is all already there. We just fucking ignore it. Okay, summing up. Let there be hate. Let there be stupidity and shadow. Compost that shit. Twin flames and inherited karma. What those who came before you went through is not your fault. But how you can understand yourself is as a purified drop of water that came from anything that is sewer before. But water is memory. So you have within you the potential for all the negative sewer stuff that came before. Those are the cycles we're breaking when we're in twin flame dynamics, runner, chaser, empath, narcissist stuff. When you are learning how to love yourself and projecting all this crap onto a lover, a love object, because we are objectifying one another, and it's wrong, it's bad. But we have to learn that. When we're going through all that stuff, we are not yet liberated. We're not free enough to experience love, real love, with another person. We are using them. They are actors in the movies in our minds. And as flattering as that may be, to be cast in a role, especially a love role, all directors are pervs. We're going to put them in places where we want them. And we're going to be mad when that's not who they are. We're going to put them in places, in positions, in roles that they don't want to do. In real life, actors and actresses get paid a lot of money to do what they do, to be something that they're not. But we just expect people in our relationships to be what we want them to be. And what are we giving in exchange for that? Reciprocity begins when you realize you're not shopping around for the person that fits the right role in a movie where you want to paint your ego as exactly this awesome person. It's not love's job to make you who you are or support your ego. Real love destroys your ego so that you can become a vessel for real love. And when two people are vessels for real love, then real love can flow between them. And God only knows what that's going to look like to the outside world. Because it's a flow and it's free. And the reciprocity in it comes naturally. And out of that overflowing nature of love that doesn't immediately grasp and reach and grab for something in return because it thinks giving love is giving away power. Love before ego death is just power struggle. We think giving love is giving away our power, and that's awful. It's awful to experience, and it's awful to be. So you have inherited karma. None of it's your fault. In fact, it's your ticket to nobility. You are transforming the scorpions of your bloodline into eagles. Eagles into phoenixes. Until you're free. And free the bondage of your entire bloodline. What a fucking adventure. Once you get the scope of the entire history of this planet, and your history, and this species' history, and the potential future of this cosmos in your head, you will no longer fit into whatever tiny story is being told by your family and culture and blah, 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 blah. You probably won't fit into your marriage. You won't fit into your job. It's going to be a crisis of its own, realizing that your consciousness just won't fit into your life thus far anymore. You can't go back again. The point of no return. I actually have no idea what else I talked about today, but I still really enjoyed talking about it. And all is perfect in all of this mess. And it's not a joke, but it helps a lot that there is so much hilarity in human foible. That's what ends up really healing us. Laughter is not even just the medicine, it is like the treasure. So live, love, and laugh. Happy Libra full moon.